All right, and what a run that was. Man, I always love Tony Hawk runs, you know. Tony Hawk is just such a staple. The reason I asked Tackle about the about runs that are what's the longest 10% run is because like every Tony Hawk run that I know of can be beaten in like 20 minutes or less, right? All of the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, THPS 1, 2, 3, and 4, can all be beaten incredibly quickly. Faster than you could even imagine. You can beat the first game in like 6 minutes or something. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I'm like, man, this game is beaten in 48 minutes or something, and I thought this was a longer one. Like, what is the longest one by chance? Turns out they're almost all less than an hour, which I think is really interesting that Tony Hawk runs in general are all super fast like that. Like an entire series is just really fast. Because Lord knows, you know, I would play Tony Hawk games back in the day, and I didn't think they were going to be that fast, but what do I know? Anyways, it is in fact a comfort game. Almost all of them. As someone who hasn't played all of them, the ones that I have played, I really enjoy them. But yeah, I imagine that I haven't played a lot of the older ones. I think I mentioned before, but Tony Hawk Underground 1 is the last Tony Hawk game I played. I did not play 2 or American Wasteland or any of the other ones after that. So, you know, unfortunately, I feel like I might have missed out on a few of those. I've been told American Wasteland and Thug 2 are pretty good. So maybe I'll have to go back and play those someday. But before we move on, we did get a $10 donation. I wanted to point that out before we get too far away from it. Avthis donated $10 and put that towards, let's see here. They put it towards the poll for Pokemon Stadium and also Wheel of Fortune bonus round. I wanted to talk about those a little bit. So coming up later today, up next we have Ailis running Immortals Fenyx Rising, which, if you don't know, is kind of like a Breath of the Wild kind of game. I believe it's made by Ubisoft, so it's obviously a little different, but I believe it takes from mythology. I'll let you figure out when that run comes up what it's all about. But it's a very interesting game, and it's going to be really cool. So there's a bunch of bid wars for that one. You can choose the character's hairstyle and color, by the way. 2 different bids right now. Let's see here, I'm looking at, and you can also choose the horse. So there's a pink buck, which is currently in the lead with $50, and then second place is the blue unicorn, which is a blue unicorn, if that wasn't clear, at looks like $23. So not bad. Then you have parrot horse, robot horse, and demon horse, which currently have nothing. So if you'd like to see one of those, please get your donations in. Following that, you can change your character's hair color. Pink is in the lead with $160. Good googly moogly. Followed by green at $17. A little bit further away, but you know, if you are determined to see this character have a different hair color, please get your donations in. We also have the hairstyle. Currently, a Viking braid is in the lead with $10, and short bob, undercut, high ponytail, and headband do not have any donations. So if you'd like to see a different hairstyle, donate towards that. Or if you'd like to secure the victory for Viking braid, you know, make sure you donate towards that and make sure it stays in the lead. Those are big donation incentives. Later on, after this run, we have Pokemon Stadium by Quo. Another interesting run is the Petite Cup. And we can choose who's on our team. In particular, we need a fire type, and it can be either Growlithe or Charmander. And you can vote. Now, I've said before that Growlithe is my favorite Pokemon, Arcanine specifically, but I also love Growlithe. The two of them, they're a package deal, TBH. And so I'd put my money towards Growlithe, which some of y'all already have. $10 on Growlithe, nothing on Charmander, which goes to show that Charmander is not a good Pokemon, and Growlithe is obviously the superior Pokemon. So please consider getting your donations in. Have this, it's yours too. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody out here with some common sense. I appreciate that. And thank you for your $10 donation, by the way. All right, I'm being told that I need to hop into setup real quick, but we are almost ready to go, and I'll be handing this off to somebody else. But for now, hold tight. I'll be right back. Okay, I have a replacement, and look at that, it's already on the screen. My name is CCNeverender. I will no longer be your host. I was just filling in for that one run, but you will see more of me later tonight. In case you're just like, I gotta see more CCNeverender. I gotta have more of this guy. After Quo's run, we're gonna be doing Wheel of Fortune with the Speed Docs crew. Although we had a last minute replacement, so it's going to be me and CJ and mystery guest. Some of you know who it is. Some of you have no idea who it is. And some of you will still have no idea whenever they show up. So, so we'll have Wheel of Fortune later on tonight. And then Glenn with Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. Fantastic run. Love that game. But following that will be my block. I'll be running a short hike and Ocarina of Time to close out the night. That's right, Dayman doesn't even know who's going to be on Wheel of Fortune tonight, and he's hosting. But we're going to have plenty more for you tonight. More of me in particular. That'll be at looks like 5:23 my time, but if you're Eastern, that'd be 6:23. But then I'll be closing out the night with a short hike and more Ocarina of Time. So please tune in for that. I'd love to see plenty of your lovely faces in the chat. Who's in charge around here? I don't know, Dayman. I just work here. But anyways, as I said, I will no longer be your host for the day. That honor belongs to Crunchy Brown, who is joining me right now.
Hello, beautiful people. It is a pleasure to be back once again for another launch party. Thank you so much for the introduction, CC. I will take it from here, but your efforts will always go noticed by me and the hundreds and thousands of people out there watching.
Thank you. Thank you. I leave it in your worthy hands, Crunchy. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a fantastic one. I've been watching the runs. I hope you've been watching the runs. I hope everyone's just having a great old vibe. We've got some amazing runs coming up. Next one is going to be run by Ailis, who is an absolute gem of a human being. She's going to be running Immortals, Fenyx Rising, any %, New Game Plus. And we've got a bunch of bid wars going on for this. So you can choose the hairstyle and color, and there's also choose the horse. And let me tell you folks, the horse incentives, very interesting to say the least. I've got these open here. I'll go over them real quick. But I want you people to donate, chip in some cash just so we can see some what is no doubt ridiculousness. For you see, the options here are Demon Horse, Robot Horse, Pink Buck, who's in the lead, by the way, with $50. Blue Unicorn, or it's Bluenicorn, actually. I love that. Second place with $23, and then we've got Parrot Horse. Personally, I want Parrot Horse to win. I don't know about you guys. Pink Buck does sound interesting, though. And this is closing very soon, by the way. I've been told that it has to be wrapped up kind of right before the run begins. So if you're trying to make Pink Buck lose and get Bluenicorn to win or anybody else to win, hop in right now and toss some bucks over to us. Get it? Some bucks. Sarah gets it. And seeing as how I'm going to be the host for the next couple of hours, folks, I've been looking at the schedule, and we've got some sweet runs coming up. We got Ailis, like I said, with Immortals, Fenyx Rising. Then we've got Quo with Pokemon Stadium, Petite Cup. Interesting. Petite Cup. Okay. And we got Dayman with Wheel of Fortune. I don't even know who's playing. I know CC was talking about that earlier, but Dayman's Wheel of Fortune hosting is always on point. I love it. There's always a good time there. And then we've got Glenn with Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. And that's when I'll be kind of passing over my hosting duties to Clock District, one of the many goats here on Team Speed Docs.
My name is Seima. I used to be afraid of the waves. During big storms, waves flood my house because it floats on top of the water. My school floats on the water too, Save the Children helped us build it. Teacher picks me and my friends up in the boat and we go to school. I wear a life jacket because I can't swim. In the boat with teacher, we're not afraid. We sing and dance. At school, we read, we learn the alphabet, we count, and we sing songs. I love my teacher. She makes me smart. I study every day because I want to be a teacher like her.
But like I can do it.
No, it's fine this way. No, that works for me, honestly.
I had it before where a marathon literally just kind of like dropped me into the live channel and I was just supposed to go and I didn't have time to set it up for the commentator. So I was on stream like doing it. Like it was really awkward.
All right, folks, we are back. Welcome again to Launch Party 2022, and we are here with Immortals: Fenyx Rising, being run by the incredible Ailis. Ailis, take it away.
Hi everyone, my name's Ailis. I'm running Immortals: Fenyx Rising. I run a bunch of different games. This game, it's relatively modern, and it's very Breath of the Wild inspired. So it's going to have a lot of the same like movement mechanics with the stamina, but it's gives you a lot more like freedom. And we're going to be playing the New Game Plus category as well, which means we have access to the full toolkit of what the game gives you, and you can do some really powerful stuff and some really cool movement. So I'm really looking forward to showing it off. So right off the bat, we start from a file, which is why I'm on the pause menu right now. So we skip all of the intro stuff. We start from first input, which means we can actually go for our first donation incentive here. So I need to know which horse won the horse bid war. Got a number of horses here. I'll share them off quickly while we're finding out.
So the winner of the incentive is Pink Buck, which is the one I'm the most curious about.
So just to show off the other ones, we had a robot horse right here. We had Blue Unicorn, which is a blue unicorn. We had Parrot Horse, which is kind of if a horse was a parrot, this is what it would look like. We have Demon Horse. And we have Pink Buck, who is this bright pink, shiny deer, which is just a phenomenal mount. So that's a really good choice. I like that a lot.
Amazing.
So we'll be using that for the run. The other two donation incentives, they will close a few minutes into the run. Because it's New Game Plus, we don't do file creation. So we'll be getting to the Hall of the Gods, where we can customize our character for the first time. So I will give a shout out when we're heading there, and then that will close as we reach that hub area. But without further ado, I'm ready to get started. So time's going to be on my first input, so I will count us down for time. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. So you see me dashing immediately. There's a few different like methods of movement in this game. Dashing is faster than running, even like faster than sprinting. So we can kind of use dashes to recover stamina, and then instead of doing the 5th dash, which has a slower animation, we can just do 4, pause a little bit, regain some stamina, and then carry on. Also, we've just seen the mount there, so that's another method of movement, and we're going to see flying. So we're going to see all of the major methods of movement like right at the start of the run. Also, you'll see I'm using an ability here called Ares Wrath. This is kind of it's an attack, but it gives you a lot of vertical movement, so we're going to use that to climb like really high distances throughout the run. It's going to allow us to do a bunch of skips that are kind of not necessarily like glitches, but they're unintentional uses of intended mechanics, and there's going to be a lot of that going on through the run. Also, even though we're in New Game Plus, a lot of these strats are actually possible in New Game as well. We just don't have to go through the trouble of setting up the build, we just have it immediately. So we've left the tutorial island, we don't do the tutorial in New Game Plus, and the quest right now wants us to go to the Hall of the Gods. However, because this game has been kind of created with the idea that you can explore and do things out of sequence and pick up things you might need for later, regardless of whether they're a quest item yet or not, and we're actually going to go into this vault here. So vaults are kind of like the shrines in Breath of the Wild. They're kind of puzzle areas. We're not going to engage with many puzzles. We're actually going to skip most of them, and this is one of the biggest skips in the run. So I'm just going to concentrate on this for a very brief moment. If there's any messages you want to read out, now would be a good time while I concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, the latest one, I don't believe CC ended up reading this one, but it is from Sarah Venza. We just had a quick $20 donation going towards the Wheel of Fortune bonus round. And he just wrote, Charmander, I hardly know her.
I like that.
Very nice.
Okay, we're nearly at the end of this vault here, so fly here for a second.
Can you just
we're
fly
good.
infinitely in this game?
So, I will explain what happened, because that looked kind of not very intentional. So, whilst flying, I was using Ares Wrath to gain height, but that uses stamina. We have items that can restore stamina, these being the potions, which restore a large chunk of it, and the mushrooms, which restore a small chunk of it. The potions are created by the mushrooms, so the idea is you can convert the mushrooms into like potions to make them more effective. However, mushrooms are usually more effective, and we'll see a key section later where mushrooms are super helpful. But you can kind of fly for as long as you have the stamina to do so. In New Game Plus, we bypass the need for stamina to do certain actions because we have a very high level upgrade that you wouldn't normally have. So you can see, for example, gliding right here. This doesn't use stamina. It normally would. Things like climbing and sprinting also no longer use stamina where they normally would in New Game. So we've got a lot of mobility available to us without running out of resources. So we're now climbing up to the Hall of the Gods. It's at the top of this big tower. So once we get to the top here, we're going to have to close the bid war for the hairstyle and color. But you can see we're making a lot of use of Ares Wrath right now. And just climb our way up here. So yeah, we can get a lot of vertical momentum. If there are any questions from you or from chat, by the way, I'm more than happy to answer questions about this game. It's not a very like popular game, so I appreciate the fact that lots of people don't actually know the game too well, so I'm more than happy to talk about it. Anyway, we have arrived at the Hall of the Gods, so that's going to be the close off for the customization options. So we go over here to this chair, and this is where we are going to change them. The game kind of has a quirky sense of humor. So I'm going to make a comment about dental exams right now. But yeah, could I just check what won the bid wars for the hair and the hair color?
So the hairstyle is actually tied. So it's $10 for Viking braid and undercut as well. So I don't really know how we decide that now.
I will let you pick Crunchy Brown.
Oh, can I see them?
Yes, so this is Viking braid right here.
Okay.
And this is undercut.
Ooh, I kind of like undercut.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going with undercut then. Sorry, Viking braid.
Cool.
Maybe when we come back later, if it's still like if it's like I mean, because it's tied. If we come back when we come back later, I'll change it to Viking braid. Then we'll have both. How about that?
There
We'll go with undercut first. And what hair color did we want?
So hair color pink was with a huge lead, $160. Pink won by far.
There we go. We have pink. Amazing. Cool.
Beautiful.
I need to apply that. There we go. We have pink undercut, which I'm a big fan of, to be honest. I think that's a great decision. Well done, everyone. It kind of suits the outfit as well. I think this has worked out remarkably well. There we go. Cool. Right. So, moving on. We have been tasked with going to the statue of Aphrodite, which are kind of like the again, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild because that's a game that people have actually played. So it's going to be much easier to get concepts across that way. But there are a number of god statues throughout the map. I believe there's 6. And each one of them is like a tower, basically, like a watchtower from Breath of the Wild, where it discovers an area of the map and shows you the area and acts as a waypoint. So it wants us to go to Aphrodite's statue, but we're not going to do that for ages now, basically. We're going to leave that right where it is, because we're going to do tons of stuff out of order. So right now, I've already been in one vault, which was supposed to be a golf minigame, by the way. We'll see some golf later, but we have skipped the most frustrating section of golf. And that was to collect an item called a crystallized tear of Aphrodite. We need 3 of those for a quest later, so we'll be picking up another one here in this vault, and then another one later on once we've finished Ares' section. The game is split up into 4 sections. Can we please climb up? That's a bit odd. Fenyx just doesn't want to oblige us right now. That's fine. So the game is split up into 4 sections, one for each of the main character gods that are... well, there's a couple more as well, but the main 4 that we're going to have to assist throughout the run, they've got a section each. And Ares is going to be the first one we go to, but we are going to basically kind of half do a lot of them and then sweep back around and finish them all off. But we kind of do Ares alone in a vacuum to start with. Right now, though, we're picking up this reward. So You saw me utilizing mushrooms and potions to kind of gain height indefinitely, and we're going to do the same thing here again. Potion management is a thing that you have to consider when running this game because you have to make sure you have enough for certain... Oh, I have... saved it. Okay, cool. I made a slight error there. That's fine. Talking about this game is hard while playing it, especially in the early game. So we're going to do the same thing here that we did, which is try and gain height in between potion cooldowns. So I'm eating mushrooms right there to get some stamina. And I'll just play it really safe here because I have made a mistake already. There we go. Cool. So there's a second tier. Another thing with these vaults is that the only reward for leaving these vaults the intended way is an upgrade material for your stamina. We have max stamina, so we don't care about that. So what we do is we just grab the items that we want from out of the vaults, and then we leave immediately, which you can do from the menu. So even though I left immediately, I've still got the tier that I picked up, which is good stuff. I might try and save a potion here. We'll see what happens. There we go, cool. So we picked up that tier. We're going to pick up the other one after Ares' section. I'll gain some stamina. Lovely. So we're entering into the Ares biome now. So while Aphrodite's area is like a kind of a fresh spring environment, this is more kind of like an evening area. It's kind of like autumnal. It's all like battle ravaged. There's a lot of like machines of war and things strewn around the place, which is kind of in theme for Ares because he's the god of war. You're going to notice a very key difference with Ares though from what you might be expecting when we get there. The overarching plot of this game is that the gods have had their essences stolen by the Titan Typhon. And Typhon is he's a figure in Greek mythology, as they all are. But he's kind of reverted them back to less sophisticated versions of themselves and removed one of their greatest strengths or assets in his mind. So we are going to be trying to get their essences and restore them to their former glory.
I'll just read a quick donation here. We got $10 from MJ Hay saying, "Good luck, Ailis. You rock. I'm so excited to watch you go fast."
Thank you, MJ. Super appreciate it. Good to see you here. So, combat. Super easy. We're playing New Game Plus. Even in New Game, the combat is not exactly difficult because we basically have a very broken build. So the build that we use would just one-shot enemies regularly.
Does it do that on all difficulties?
Yeah, pretty much. So we're actually playing the easiest difficulty right now. But
okay.
I think on higher difficulties it probably wouldn't one-shot, but on New Game it would one-shot definitely. So yeah, difficulty kind of, all it does is make enemies take longer to kill and make stamina longer to regen, so it doesn't really add much from a speedrun perspective, so no one's really gone for higher difficulty runs. That's why we stick to easy mode on this. Or I think it's called story mode, which is the easiest mode. It just gives the most flowing experience, essentially. So, this is the Vault of Ares. There are 4 major vaults, one for each god, and it's where their essence is contained. All the other gods, we go to the major vault at the end of the run. But this one, we're actually going to be going at the start, because Ares' story is kind of... It's the most different from the other ones in terms of how you go about approaching it. We're going to see our first kind of unintended mechanic here. So this is called Orichalcum Flying. There are these blocks here, which are Orichalcum blocks. And the idea is you're supposed to do a bunch of puzzles with these where you move them around, they float in midair, and you use them as stairs and things like that. But as it turns out, if you take a small one and balance it under this big one, you can fly straight up like this. So you can pull the bottom one into the top one and push yourself right up. And it's getting in the way, which is very annoying, but it's fine. We're all good. So that's bypassed this entire section of puzzle over here with all these Orichalcum blocks that we're supposed to do. We're going to do this for all but one of the puzzles in this section. And right here, there's this big anvil block. This is meant to be pushed down by a heavy object. But there is another upgrade that we have, which means that you can create a clone of yourself using Phosphor, who's our Fenyx friend. We'll talk about him later. But he can create clones. And one of the items that we have right from the start in New Game Plus makes the clone a heavy object, which means that we can just bypass any kind of puzzle that requires us to get multiple small objects or a single heavy object. We can just do that. We don't need to worry about it. So again, we've just done that again.
Infinite height with those blocks?
Well, as they get closer to being out of bounds, they will start to disappear, so they'll flash and despawn. So you can't go infinitely, but until you hit like the barrier of the area you're in, you can just keep going up, yeah. But once they move too far from their initial spawn point, they will start doing that, so this is the section we have to do intentionally. It's kind of a cool example of some of the puzzle solving in the game. So there's like a bunch of like physics elements. So right now, for example, we're using the orichalcum blocks to make little bridges for these sections, and we're going to roll a ball down it. So the ball's going to spawn in there. We don't actually need to follow it because I know it will make it over just fine. So we're going to instead fly over here and set up for the next quest. Just a small optimization, because we can't do this section until it's gone into the like button switch thing to spawn in these blocks. So we just move over here so we're able to do it as soon as it arrives. Now we're going to do another one. That's not a great position, but I think it'll be fine. If not, then oops. And we're just going to grab this one. So normally it would want us to get another orichalcum block and set it up so that the balls will move by themselves. But because we have fully upgraded stuff as well, we can lift heavy objects as if they were light objects, which you can't normally do. Which means that you can just ignore all of this stuff. And this one's gotten stuck. That's fun. Can you please come down here? Cool. Lovely. Right. There we go. Lovely. And we're going to do one more orichalcum fly here, and then this is going to be the end of the vault. There's going to be a boss at the end, but I mean, you can see exactly how overpowered we are in terms of combat when we come to fight this boss. One more. Also, this red shimmery stuff here, I have to watch out for that. That's called corrupted zones. But basically, that is the original system put in place to stop me from doing all of these broken things. Because they thought if someone tries to fly over there, it'll be really bad. So we should put this here and stop them. But they didn't expect, you know, flying all the way up to the top of the stage. So you can kind of go over them. But if I ever hit that, your stamina drains like that. It's like gone pretty much. So you have to be very careful. There is a mechanic that kind of gets around that restriction later on in the run, and we'll see that later, which is like a really cool skip that skips a ton of stuff. Anyway, this is the first boss that we're going to fight. He is dead. Cool. Love New Game Plus. Brilliant game. Yeah, so I should probably explain the build that we have. There is an item in the game called the Mane of Pride. Also, that's the vault over. We tried to get the essence. It gets stolen. We're going to go work out who stole it. That's why this one's slightly different. So there's an item in the game called the Mane of Pride, which massively increases your damage when the opponent you're hitting is at maximum health. There is also a skill in the game, Godly Power it's called the Hammer of Hephaestus, right? And you can also charge up the Hammer of Hephaestus, which deals like 2,500% damage or something, like absurd like that. It's a really high number. And then that is multiplied by 150%. So you are basically dealing more damage than anything can withstand in New Game Plus. It is absurd how much damage that you deal. This is the same build that we go for in New Game as well, because the Mane of Pride is a very early game unlock, so we go out of our way slightly to pick it up. So it's a super useful build, and it's going to be... We'll use the Mane of Pride right up until the final boss, because the final boss is one of the only things that doesn't die like immediately in combat. So we've gone and got the essence, and it wants us to go back to talk to Ailis, but we're going to do some more out-of-sequence stuff. So over here is a vault that contains a song. And we need the song because the essence is being hid in Ailis' fort, which he has lost access to because he is now a chicken. Literally a chicken. So to get in there, we need his Salphinx, which is one of his one of his instruments. Basically, he plays music on the Salphinx, and we need to know the song that will open the door. So the song is in here. The Salphinx is somewhere else, but because we're closer to this already, it's faster to get it first, and just have it kind of be out of sequence. But the game actually fully supports this, which is really cool, because Fenyx will actually comment that she likes the song, but she doesn't know what its purpose is if you haven't already gone and spoken to Ailis. So the game really accommodates for these kind of out of sequence plays a lot. This vault is less of a challenge, less of a puzzle, sorry, and more of a gauntlet essentially. And we've gotten through the first part of it just fine. That guy's dead as well. Just ignore him. He's having a great time. And now instead of doing the last bit of the gauntlet, what we're going to do is fly straight over here to the end of the vault. There's two sides you can go down. This one just happens to be faster. Oh, we nearly did not have enough height. That's fine though. We can still make it. So this plinth has the tribute melody on it. We're just going to pop that in there. Kill this Minotaur. He tried. He tried his absolute best. And there we go. Cool.
That's catchy. Hummable. But what's it for?
There you go, see? So they've really like considered all these things, which I think is really cool, honestly. Like so many games will kind of like, they'll make you revisit areas you've already been to, because they haven't like spawning quest items and stuff like that yet. So I just like the fact that you can play this without having to like revisit areas because it wasn't the right time. Also, small piece of tech here. So there are enemies right here that want to aggro onto me, but you can't fast travel when you're in combat. So you have to pause really quickly then and fast travel away before the enemies see you. It's not too much of a time loss if they do see you. You just have to fight them, but it's just nice to get it. That one's relatively easy. There's another instance of that happening later, which is much harder and it's not free. So it'll be interesting to see if I can get that one. So now Ares is going to tell us about the Salfinx, and we're going to go get it. And that's him, by the way. He's the chicken.
Wait, Ares is the chicken?
Ares is the chicken. He has had his essence stolen, and he has been reverted to a lesser form, that being a chicken. Aphrodite is a tree. We'll see her later. Aphrodite. We have Athena, who has become a child, and we have Hephaestus, who has become a robot. I'm not sure why a robot, but there are robots everywhere in his zone. They're just all over the place. But now we're going to Draconosmenius, and we're going to see the second glitch of the game, I guess. Like I said, there's not many glitches specifically in this game. There's just creative uses of intended mechanics. Whereas this one is kind of a... We're essentially going to clip through a barrier. Oh, and I have used all my potions but one. This is interesting. I think I can get away with just one potion for the rest of it. I could do a potion stop here, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna play it how it comes. It'll be fine. This is the joy of playing New Game as well as New Game Plus, is if I run out of my resources, then I at least know what I can do when I have fewer resources. Because another thing with New Game Plus is you start with tons of potion resources and tons of like max potions, basically. Also, right there, I went and discovered the waypoint for Draconosmenius. So it looked like I was just killing time for no reason, but you have to wait till the game auto-saves before you can fast travel to a new zone. So I was just waiting for the save icon to pop up. So, Dracon. Normally what you're supposed to do is go around and find a bunch of teeth and put them into the mouth so that it opens up. What we're going to do instead is wedge yourself into this corner and then dash twice into that tooth, and we can just about get through. And this is an arrow puzzle. These are kind of cute. I like the music. Basically, you've got these arrows that you can steer, and you have to put them through all of the loops. And then that will give you some upgrade materials, but it's also required for unlocking the Salfinx in this case. So, Salfinx is there. You can see it. It's unlocked now. Coins of Charon are normally for upgrading your abilities, but we have everything upgraded that we needed, so we're not going to use them at all. So we grab the Salfinx, and fortunately, we're not in combat. If we were in combat for whatever reason, we would be soft-locked. Because the enemies would prevent us from fast traveling, and you can't get out of there without fast traveling if you glitch in, because the mouth isn't supposed to be entered or exited until it's open. So, and you can hear Zeus and Prometheus talking as well. The whole story is from the perspective of Zeus asking Prometheus for a prophecy on how they're going to fix the Typhon problem, essentially, because Typhon is too strong for Zeus to defeat on his own. He wants to know how he's going to do it. So this whole thing is essentially framed as a story being told by Prometheus of Fenyx and how she's going to help him. This is also a section that we have to wait around for a little bit. A lot of dialogue has stacked up because we've been going through areas so fast. So Prometheus is trying to say a bunch of things about stuff we've already encountered. And we can't start cutscenes until they're done now. So we just have to wait for Fenyx to talk about something. Here we go.
Got Ares' Salfinx and Typhon's tribute melody.
I like this hair. It's really cool.
Open the fortress.
There we go. Ares is giving me a blessing right now. In New Game, these are relevant because there's one that we want to get in a certain order, so we actually don't do the game in this order. We go and get a different god first. But in New Game Plus, even though he gives you the visual representation of getting it, we start with all of them, so it literally doesn't matter. And now we have entered Ajax's fort, which is Ares' fortress. And here we're going to have a couple of puzzles to do. And then we'll have our first essence. If there are any other messages or anything you'd like to read out, or any questions from chat or anything, then now would be a good time, because I'm just going to do a bit of climbing to get to the next section.
No donations as of yet. Last one was from MJ Hay, but let me just take a look here real quick at our upcoming incentive. We're $160 away from the Wheel of Fortune bonus round. People, please donate for this. Like I said earlier, the Wheel of Fortune, I guess, hostings by Dayman are always incredible, super funny. Please let us get that bonus round. And then the other one after that, $250 away, but this is the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Peach Takes a Shower incentive.
Okay.
Not 100% sure what that implies.
Me neither, and I think we need to get it met so that we can find out.
Absolutely. She's paper. She can't take a shower.
I didn't even think about it in that context, to be honest.
She'll get all soggy.
Oh no. So this puzzle room here has a puzzle where you're supposed to like avoid these lasers. In New Game, these will kill you. Like, these lasers are incredibly strong. But in New Game Plus, as it turns out, we're so strong that we just have a gratuitous amount of health and we can just stand in them, press the button that we need, and then carry on our merry way. So that's the first major puzzle of this section. There's a second one coming up, which not too difficult. A lot of these overworld puzzles are much easier than what you'll find in the vaults generally if you're playing casually. The vaults don't let you climb any surface like you can outdoors. So the puzzles outdoors are very much kind of, they expect you to kind of break those, whereas the vaults are meant to be like kind of the challenge sections. However, as shown already, we're going to bypass a lot of them. I don't think we're going to do very much puzzle solving at all in this run, to be honest. We're going to take every opportunity to just not do that. Oh, don't want to enter combat. So one downside of New Game Plus is that the enemies like notice you sooner, basically. The enemies are like leveled up, so it has a dynamic leveling system for the enemies. They start out being like red or something, and they're purple right now, which is a few tiers above that. So they will notice you very quickly, but they're still not very strong. But it does mean they can put you in combat when you don't want to be. Combat is awkward because not only can you not fast travel, but you also can't regenerate stamina quickly at all. Your stamina regen is massively reduced. Also, this is a really big block. Oh god, no, I want the block. Come on, there we go. Right. Get over there. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Cool. Thank you, block. So there's a lot of ways you can optimize movement in this by trying to use like the physics elements to land things where you want them immediately instead of having to run over and put them down on switches, which means there's some interesting shots you have to try and go for. And we'll go up here. I will save this one potion here because I used a lot of them on the way up here. This guy is... Okay, no, he's seen me. I thought I could be cheeky and get him to stand on that and be like the solution for the puzzle instead of putting a clone there, but he saw me. Sometimes you can get away with that. It's really cheeky. This is quite a hard throw. We want to get it on that corner. And it did not quite go. This one's not up against a wall, so it's hard to kind of get it to land properly. If it's against the wall, it's really easy, but... That is the second switch, which means now we can go and confront the mysterious stranger who has stolen Ares' essence from under us. I'm interested, like, it's kind of hard to talk about this game without spoiling the plot, so I apologize. There's going to be some plot spoilers in here if you're intending to play it.
I gotta say, the game looks really cool. Like, I'm surprised I haven't heard more of it.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it, but that was pretty much it.
I think the advertising was somewhat ambiguous for it, especially with the art style, because I remember I saw adverts for this game ages ago. It was actually bought for me as a Christmas present, but I remember seeing adverts of it like ages and ages ago, and I thought it was a MOBA. I thought, oh, Ubisoft are making a MOBA, huh? I don't know why. It was just the advert and the style and the way they did it. It just came off as very MOBA-y. They didn't really emphasize the story very much at all, so I think that may have worked against it somehow.
Interesting.
Anyway, Ares has gained his courage back. He helps us fight that guy. He gives us a blessing. He's now gone back to the Hall of the Gods. We could now go back to him and restore him to his former glory if we wanted. However, what we're going to do instead is we're going to leave him there, because there's no point in doing them one by one. You don't get any real benefit from it. What we're going to do instead is get all 4 of the gods and then restore them all at the same time. It makes more sense that way, basically. Just to go from one to the other, especially because one of them will trigger a really long cutscene. Oh, this is classic. So that's RNG. So Hermes is a trickster, as anyone who knows Greek mythology will know. And there is an RNG chance that he will convince you that whilst fast traveling, you died and went to the underworld. And that area we just went to was the underworld.
What? Oh,
Also,
there you go.
also
Just
my
kidding.
favorite cutscene.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice cauldron.
Nice cauldron. I love that cutscene. I don't know why. Just the voice line cracks me up every time. So we're just doing a quick stop for potions here, because we've used up all our stamina potions. So this is like a planned potion stop. This is when we would normally want to get all of the potions that we can. And so we've cleared out Ares' zone, but now we're not going to clear out another zone for quite a while. We're instead going to go through Aphrodite's zone. We're going to get the 3rd tier of Aphrodite. So that quest will be completable as soon as it comes up. We're going to talk to Aphrodite as well, and we're going to go to the Aphrodite statue. We're going to talk to Aphrodite, and then we're just going to leave, and we're going to go to Athena's zone. Then we're going to do 2 3/4 quests in Athena's zone. We're going to travel to Hephaestus. We're going to clear Hephaestus, and then we're going to rotate back the way we came and finish everything off one by one. Right now, though, it's the Cabbage Olympics. So for whatever reason, we have a cabbage-themed physics puzzle, which isn't particularly a puzzle. It's more, can you find 3 cabbages? And the answer is there's 6 right here, so yes, I can. In fact, there's 7. There's a bonus cabbage up there. And they just want you to put these cabbages on these plinths. There is like a mythology reason for these cabbages. I can't remember them, though. They just make comments about how the cabbages smell really bad, so... So this is yet again another vault. We're not going to engage with the puzzle solving at all. Because of Ares' wrath, instead of making staircases and making like blocks and things to stand on, instead we can just scale these walls incredibly quickly. Yeah, I think the intended thing for this is like it's trying to teach you that wooden materials will break if they're shot. So those like fire shooters will break any wooden materials that you've got, which includes wooden boxes. So the idea is you're supposed to carry the wooden box through and just have it not get shot by fire. But again, we don't need to, because we can just do this. And there's the final tier right there. And we're out. Cool. Easy peasy. So one thing that I love about this section of the game is being in Aphrodite's zone in general, because it is gorgeous. This game looks really pretty. These are only on medium settings because, like, ideally I'd go for like maximum frames per second so that like my inputs are like more regularly processed or whatever. But I do want the game to look nice, so medium's like my kind of like compromise graphical setting, because I want it to look nice, but I don't want to like tank my frame rate. But this game just looks stunning even on medium. Like, it's a really, really pretty game. I really like the style of it as well.
It does look really nice. How, like, the map looks enormous. Is this game actually, like, as big as it looks?
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's big. I don't know, like, how it, like, compares to, say, like, Breath of the Wild, for example, in terms of map size. But I guess the way to describe this game is that it shows you the whole map. So you can see like a lot, like there's not so many like nooks and crannies like you'd see in Breath of the Wild, where they've got like lots of little hidden areas and alcoves and stuff. This is very much, you can like look out at this like massive expanse and
right, yeah,
kind of see a lot of it.
The distance is super impressive.
Oh, this is a small piece of speed tech as well. So I'm dodging up this cliff here. Cliffs of certain angles, where if you dodge at them, you will travel up them as if they were flat ground and just shoot straight up them. So you can kind of bypass having to climb there by like sliding up it instead. Also, here's another glitch. And we got it first try. Cool. So there's meant to be an unskippable cutscene here that shows you the area you've just discovered, opens the map, shows you the map that you just opened, and then you have to close it. But because we paused the game right after we enabled it, the game created an autosave. So what we did was we loaded the autosave, and then that bypasses the whole cutscene. So we've just discovered Aphrodite's area and like completed the quest that we needed to do, but we didn't have to sit through the cutscene. There's another one of those in New Game that you do in the Hermes area at the start in the tutorial, but it's slightly a little bit possibly soft locking your game. So this is definitely the friendlier of the two. So we're done with Aphrodite's zone for now. We'll come back. Now, what we're going to do is go to Athena's. But first, on the way there, we have to make sure we pick up an important fast travel point, because Aphrodite's vault is under that big tree over there. And we don't want to have to walk back over here later, so we're going to kind of... We want to go to that building up on the left there, but we want to go to this tree at some point later. So we're going to kind of just run straight down the middle, and we'll get a fast travel point for the tree in that way. You can also see why it's important to have a level 3 mount here. I would have had more mount choices for the... like more flexibility for the mount choices for the donation incentive. But you can customize your appearance for everything in this game except mounts. Mounts have their stats tied to them and you can't like put skins on them. So if you see my stamina, I've got 3 like lines, like 3 columns of stamina. You need a level 3 mount to have that. If you had a level 2 or a level 1, you wouldn't be able to do it. And in sections like this, it's really important because mounted speed is like really, really good. Just going to do a bit of traversing here. This zone is like really, really nice. It's a shame that we don't come here at nighttime in either run, because at night these pools glow. It just looks really, really pretty. They like reflect the moonlight or something. You can see a lot of my movement is like kind of, I'm trying to optimize between mounting, flying, and doing 4 dashes. Sprinting is the slowest, as previously mentioned. Flying, I believe, is the fastest, but it's also the hardest to maintain because flying requires height, and you steadily lose it as you travel, so... Anyway, archives, up there. We don't want to take the stairs. We are just going to get the fast travel point and go straight up there. It's faster than walking around the front, and there are no enemies that we have to deal with, so we stay out of combat as well. It's really nice. However, Athena is here. We're not going to go talk to her right away. We're instead going to avoid the conversation zone by hugging the right side of this room, because she's going to tell us to go fight a Hydra. We don't need to talk to her first to fight the Hydra. We can just go down and fight it. So we're going to jump straight down here, head to the Hydra vault, and then like fast travel back up to her. It just skips a conversation with Athena, basically. Also, there's no full damage in story mode, which is the easiest difficulty, so you can kind of see me just like face plant the floor on multiple occasions. I still have a habit from playing this casually where I like start flying as I reach the floor, but it's not actually necessary. So, 17 monster. This boss is super annoying the first time you play the game and then never again. Because in New Game we can one-shot this thing incredibly easily. This is kind of like the major damage check for New Game, because you have to have got your build correct up until this point. It's not too challenging, but if you've forgotten an upgrade, this is what you suddenly realize, and now you're stuck in this horrible fight that's really annoying. In New Game Plus, it doesn't matter though. Like, we could like make a lot of mistakes and we'd still one-shot these heads. So because it's a Hydra, the heads split. You fight 1, then 2, then 4. And there we go, we're done with the quest, and we can just leave the vault. So that was an item-based quest rather than a like complete the vault-based quest, which means that we can just take the Hydra Tooth and leave. We don't need to stay in there and exit the vault the intended way. So just a small optimization there again. And up to the archives. So now we go talk to Athena. I'm sure you've noticed the cutscenes are very skippable. You can kind of just like breeze through them by spamming the spacebar. I know Shasta, who's one of the like runners for this game, like previously, who ran New Game and a bit of New Game Plus as well, found a way to bind that to his mouse wheel without interfering with other inputs, and I would like to know how to do that because my spacebar is starting to make a funny noise from all the mashing I have to do. So now we have to go do hero things. This is the quest we're going to do 2/3 of for Athena. Sorry, no, 3/4. Sorry. So there are 4 heroes in this game that get brought up multiple times. There's Achilles, there's Atalanta, there's Odysseus, and there is Heracles. This quest is kind of us trying to learn from them to be more like a hero, so we can be Athena's champion and fight in Typhon. Which means we have a task for each of them. We're going to do 3 of them, and then we're going to come back to finish the quest off later. So that's the Caledonian Boar. That was Atalanta's challenge. Again, New Game Plus, we just kill it. We don't even have to jump down there. We could just shoot it from the top and then keep running, which is quite nice. We're going to do another pickup of a waypoint up ahead as well. Up there is Guardian Hill. You see those heads there. That's where we do the challenge of Heracles. And we have to fight a Cerberus. Well, not a Cerberus. He's a 3-headed dog called Cerberus, obviously. But we have to fight a 3-headed hound. have to fight. We have to do it. You'll see what I mean later. But we've discovered the waypoint just by walking up that path. So now we're going to carry on and go this way. The next one is Achilles. Crunchy, what do you think the challenge is going to be about for Achilles? I'm going to give you the opportunity to guess where they went with for this particular bit of game design.
The challenge for the chicken.
No, for Achilles.
Oh, for Achilles. Sorry.
Achilles.
You have to hit his heel?
Somewhat the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious.
So, because obviously the whole Achilles heel reference is the obvious route, Achilles' heel is down there, and we need to give it back to him.
So the whole wait, hold on.
I'm holding his foot from the heel up right now. I don't know where it is. There it is, and I've got to give it back to the statue. But these enemies are making it a real problem. There we go. Fine. One of the enemies like body blocked me a bit, and I had to deal with it. So, this is Dolus' stage of trickery, or if anyone's run or like seen anything about the Sonic 3 prototype, this is Dolus' stage. Okay, I won't explain that reference beyond what I've already said. So this is kind of like a trial stage. You're supposed to fight like a wave, do like a wave-based fight of enemies, but as it turns out, these enemies don't spawn until you hit the ground floor. So if you just don't hit the ground, you don't have to do that. And instead, we can just fly over the whole thing by using our trusty potions and mushrooms. So because this is like a beat the vault kind of challenge, we do have to like exit this one normally. So that's what it looks like when you exit, and you get a Zeus's Lightning, which is an upgrade material we will not use. In New Game, it's really nice how it's been optimized. There's only one wasted Zeus's Lightning in the whole run in New Game now, which is really cool. Now, there's a small group of enemies here. Hopefully, I'll sneak past them. No, there's no way. They saw me, 100%. You can't activate the next part of the quest if you're in combat. So if they see you at all, you just have to go. Like, you have to fight them. Like, I've had it in runs before where I've gone down here, realized that one of the enemies is, like, aggroed on me up there, and I have to sit and wait for them to give up, and that takes forever. So it is much more beneficial to do it this way. There we go. So, this is Odysseus' section, and because Odysseus is famous for the Odyssey, we have to get his boat back. The boat can be really annoying sometimes and fall off this cliff and fall into the water, and for whatever reason, the boat falling in the water destroys it. I don't think they quite understood what a boat is for, but we'll deal with it. But yeah, we don't have to walk over there. We can just do a really cool throw and land the boat on it. Try and avoid this Cyclops from seeing us. In New Game, it wouldn't be a problem with that Cyclops because his aggro is like way smaller, but it is much bigger in New Game Plus, so I just have to be slightly careful. It's even debatably faster to kill him if he's in the right position. And now, so that's Athena's area covered for now. We'll come back here later. So now we're going to Hephaestus. Hephaestus is my least favorite zone. I really kind of don't get on with a lot of... Oh, I didn't fly. That's interesting. A lot of what goes on in terms of the setup for this section. So we haven't found him yet, but we're going to do like all of the quests he wants us to do ahead of time. One of these is about restarting his forge. There are 3 things we have to do for that. We have to restart, we have to open the vents so the air can escape. We have to restart the fires of the forge, which is the most annoying section. And we have to clear the aqueducts and get the aqueducts moving again so that we can get the water out once it's been used. So these are some of the most annoying things to do. We're going to be spending a lot of time running away from enemies and trying not to lose time to just weird small things that can happen. There's a whole section where we're in combat for ages and our stamina management's really important. So there's a lot to keep in mind while you're doing this. So these are the vents. As you can see right now, there are enemies all over the place. This one isn't too bad because we can just run in, do it, and leave. But this section up here has these automaton enemies that we have to worry about. And this is a problem because even though our clone is a heavy object, it's still very vulnerable to enemy attacks. And we need to use our clone for this section here. So if they do this ranged attack, there's a chance they'll hit the clone. I need this block, please. So they've already kind of trolled me a bit. But if they do a ranged attack now, when I put my clone here, they do exactly what they just did, which is destroy the clone twice. Please don't do this. And the clone needs to survive so you can push the button. So already you can see Hephaestus' area not going quite the way I wanted it to. The plus side is because this is New Game Plus, I'm not using stamina for flying, so I don't need to stress about my stamina management in that section. The next section, though, we're pretty much in combat for the whole thing. So this is lighting the fires. There are 4 forges that we have to light, and we do this by putting coal in them and then lighting fire to the coal, or doing it the other way around, so making the coal ignited first and then putting it into the engine. Also, this guy, he's just gone. So we move the coal in here. The way we light the coal is really cool as well. So you get fire on your arrow and then shoot it onto the coal, which is really cool. So every time you do this, it spawns in enemies, and there's a chance that they can put you in combat. So we don't want to do that. This next one's really well guarded as well, so that there. Grab this off. I landed very far away. It would be nicer if I was a bit closer. Can you please move out the way? There we go. Cool. So that's 2 of them. That's 2 down. This is going all right so far. The next 2 are the most annoying, but it's not too bad, honestly. Still in combat. There's a really cool trick shot you can do here. One of the upgrades that we have is, again, very Breath of the Wild-esque. When you jump in the air with your bow out, you get bullet time. So I'm going to do this now. I didn't get the fire, so this is now going to be very awkward. Get fire here, and then like this. And yeah, we were too slow. If we managed to get that fire to start with, we could have done it. But you can basically jump, shoot the arrow, hit the coal, and then because of the bullet time, by the time you're done... Oh, can you move out the way? By the time you're done, the horse is still below you, and you just land on top of it immediately, which is really cool. Also, small downside of New Game Plus, and we have an upgrade for our Braces of Heracles, which are what allow us to pick up items. That means that we can pull enemies towards us, and as it happens, that means that if you're trying to grab certain objects, sometimes it will grab an enemy instead. So right there, I wanted to grab the coal, and instead I grabbed a bird. Didn't want to do that. Okay, that's the last one. We've got a decent amount of stamina, so this isn't too bad. So in line with the theme of the game so far, we are going to discover a waypoint that we're going to use later, or at least try to. This is the difficult one that we have to do. So this is the aqueducts over here. We fly over to that tower with the torch on top, and that will discover the aqueducts for us, which is quite nice. But then we need to go do another quest, because, as I mentioned previously, Hephaestus is an automaton. He has lost his hands, so he physically can't do anything right now. He can't pick anything up. He's having a real hard time. He's going to ask us to get his hands as well. So we're going to detour a bit, get that first, and hopefully we're going to fast travel over to the aqueducts to finish them off. But that's really hard to do in New Game Plus. New Game, it's semi-consistent. New Game Plus, the enemies see you very quickly. So I think in my PB, I get it. But it's kind of like run deciding at this point, like if I get it or if I don't get it, because it loses like 20 seconds, 20 to 30, depending on how like cruel the enemies are to you. Also, down there are some demigods. They're basically like the regular denizens of the island that Typhon is trying to fight. Every now and again, there's a section where it'll try and get you to join in with them, but it's too slow. Sorry, you're going to have to deal with it yourself. I'm sure they'll be fine. Kill these harpies because they will see you and they will cause problems. Oh, hit these guys as well. There we go, fine. So there's the first automaton hand. That one's not too bad. But the second one is down in this quarry. Quarry's full of enemies, which means we have to land, grab it, and then fast travel immediately.
This place looks like a battle.
And as you can see, there is an enemy right there that I think is going to see me. Did I make it? We did not get it. That was so close. So now we have to fight these guys. There's a harpy somewhere. Oh, I parried it. Nice. Kill this one. I thought he was moving. Okay. I think I'm out of combat now. You have to wait a bit. There we go. Cool. So, you'll see me with bow shots as well. I always jump in the air to get the slow motion. That's actually for a combat benefit as well. So the bow that we use is called Whirlwind, and it essentially gives us a faster arrow charging time when we're in midair. So the bow's like most highest DPS output is to jump and then aim instead of just aiming from the ground. Also, we have two methods of charging up. So The initial charge you get from a bow upgrade, and it just makes it do more damage. But then there's also the Athena blessing that we have because we're New Game Plus, where it gives you like an AoE lightning attack on it as well, which is super useful. Also, a bit of nice movement there just to get the corruption off of the water wheels really quickly. You can just do an Ares Wrath to clear it all and then carry on flying. Always looks really satisfying. Now there's one more water wheel to do. You have to be quite careful in this section because there's those two harpies there. And they will put you in combat, and you do not want to be in combat right now because what you want to do is fast travel away immediately. So, there we go. We got there. And now we travel to the Forge of the Gods. So now we've done basically all of the quests that we can do in Hephaestus' area at this point. And we are now going to run into Hephaestus' little hideaway and just dump all this information on him. Once you've done that, we can go do like the final quest, and then we'll have the second major vault of the game, which is another one that we are not going to play in the intended way at all. We're actually going to do very few vaults in the intended fashion, so I think that's pretty cool. Here he is. Engaging story right there. And now we fast travel straight back. So yeah, this is definitely the theme of speedrunning this game. It's just finding efficient ways to do as many objectives as you can, and then finishing them all off in one go. Especially because the game will very frequently, if you play normally, it will have you like return to like the gods as like a hub, like really, really frequently. You'll be constantly running back and forth between them. So the fact it lets you like make that more efficient is really, really nice. This mount is so cool, by the way. I've never used this one before. It looks so nice.
I wanted Parrot Horse.
You wanted Parrot Horse? I like Parrot
Horse.
Horse.
But this one is like the next runner-up for me.
Okay, I tried for a small trick there called horsing around. I named that. It's basically you get the... Like, normally you're not supposed to mount in this area, but if you can run the horse into this room while the camera is doing that, like, preview thing of the area, the horse will stay, because it will dismount you from the horse and it won't despawn it. Which means you can then use the horse inside the building you're not supposed to use, and you can just, like, go slightly faster. It saves, like, 1 second or something. It's not that important, but I like getting it if I can. Sometimes it's even a problem, because the horse gets in the way of your arrows, and then you can't actually complete the quest. You have to move him. Yeah, these are just a couple of small puzzles. That one was just shooting, like, lighting the fires appropriately. This one, it gives you, like a pattern you have to follow, but the pattern's always the same, so you just memorize it and always hit the same ones. Get in there. Please. There we go. Cool. So now we've done that, we have to go talk to Hephaestus, who's going to give us a bit of backstory that we're not going to watch because it's a cutscene and we don't do those, so... Also, big automaton. Bye. I hope my spacebar isn't like clashing too much, by the way, while I'm skipping these cutscenes. I hope you can't hear it. I did put on a noise gate, but I think it's quite loud, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's audible, but it's not loud by any means.
That's cool. Well, you can hear what my spacebar has to go through on a regular basis.
Abuse.
Abuse. My poor spacebar, honestly. I'm just going to be doing a bit of climbing here. We have to go and like empower Hephaestus' hammer so that we can break the big statue and get into his vault. So if there's any messages or anything or like donation incentives you want to like update on, then feel free.
Not at the moment, but I am expecting a flood to come in because I believe in the viewers.
Hey, me too. Come on, viewers.
Let's make it happen, folks.
Make it happen.
We got the incentives coming up. I mean, I want that bonus round for Jeopardy. I'm gonna get my bowl of popcorn. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch people just get goofed on. It's gonna be great.
So I'm gonna show my Britishness now. Which one's Jeopardy again?
Actually, hold on. Is it Jeopardy is the one with the wow, I can't talk right now. It's the one where you have all these categories on the screens and then you pick one.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I don't think we have... I mean, we've got similar shows, but I don't think we have that specific show here.
Yeah, but I said Jeopardy. However, it's Wheel of Fortune. That's what I meant.
Wheel of Fortune. We also
Yes.
don't have that, I don't
It's-
think. Wait, do we? I don't know if we have Wheel of Fortune.
It's so fun.
Do we
There's,
have
like,
Wheel of
awesome sound
Fortune?
effects.
Can any British person in the chat please enlighten me on if we have Wheel of Fortune or not? I need someone to watch out for this. This is important information. Anyway, Vault of Hephaestus. So the second major vault of the run. So the theme of this is Forge winds. So the idea is that the wind is traveling in a certain direction. If you fly into it, you will get stuck. And if you fly with it, you will be able to fly indefinitely. Like, you'll maintain your height. So you get super flying in one direction, no flight in the other direction. We're just not going to engage with this very much. We've used it already. But now we've gotten to this point, what it wants us to do is change the wind a bunch of times and, like, try and get, like, these, like, lit pieces of coal into these engines so we can restart the forge furnace and all those kinds of things. But what we're actually going to do is do this movement up the side of the forge. And now we've skipped all of that. But the game is saying to us, you're supposed to have an updraft here that you travel up, which is supposed to be how you traverse this section. How are you going to do it without that? Well, as it turns out, we can just ignore all of that as well. So, thanks to our amazing mobility options, we can just kind of keep going. So, again, with Ares Wrath, double jumping and gliding, we can just kind of go, go, go. There are, fortunately, platforms in just the right places that we need them that ensure that we never have to stop for too long. That's the last one. I'll wait till I get some stamina back, and then we'll go up here. And that is Hephaestus' Vault. That was actually very smooth. Very happy with that one. And this is Polyphemus, and he's gone. The last time we're going to see Forge Wind for a while. The Forge Wind does actually come back later, and it does actually pose an issue for us in the final vault of the game. It doesn't really stop us from doing anything, it just makes something slightly more difficult. But that is Hephaestus' essence discovered. So, 2 down, 2 to go. Also, there's a minigame in these load screens. You can pick up these crystals, which are blue shards. They're used for upgrading your weapons. Not particularly useful in New Game Plus, but it's just something fun to do while the game loads. So, back to Athena's Zone. As mentioned, we have the waypoint for Guardian's Hill, and we have one trial left to do, which is the trial of Heracles. So here's a fun fact about this section. You don't get to hear it very much because we finished the section so fast that the voice line can't finish. But I got to run this game at Frame Fatale's last year. And we were joined by a very special guest. We had Alana Dunkelman, who is the voice of female Fenyx. She was on commentary, and she was absolute wonder to work with. She was wonderful, lovely person. And she was telling us about this specific monologue here. Because apparently the male voice actor went first. And recorded it really fast, and she had to try and keep up with it. So when you listen to that voice line and how fast it is, you have to consider how difficult that was to do. So I've got a lot of respect for both her and the male voice actor for their performance in this game. I love the voice acting a lot. So this is Hound of Hades. This is where you're supposed to fight the three-headed hound that's representing Cerberus. But we're not going to do that again, because as it turns out, this is the same layout as the Dolus stage was. So stand here, and then we can just go straight up here. You can see they tried to stop us with some corruption. But you can actually stand here and get your energy back, so... Okay, that's bad. Please grab it. Okay, cool. We're fine. We're doing any percent strats now. This is fine. So what you can do if you've got slightly better stamina management. Oh, that's bad. Okay, this is just going to pot right now. You can do kind of the same strat that we did with Dolus' stage of trickery to clear the whole section. But instead, I'm just going to play it safe because I made a slight slip up at the start, lost my stamina slightly too soon. Lost my glide as a result, and then just had to do a bit of a backup. But so long as you don't touch the floor in there, it's fine. You're never going to spawn the enemies in. You can even stand on the floor, at the far side of the room. It's just kind of the middle you have to be careful of. So we have done hero things. And now we have to go and meet Athena at a different section. So to kind of sum up her storyline for this, She wants us to learn about being a hero, and then she'll make us her champion. But in the meantime, she says that she has found a prophecy, and this prophecy is about how we will become a champion. However, as we're about to find out in this cutscene that we're skipping through, but the Oracle is actually under the influence of some interesting substances, and just made up the prophecy because he wanted her to go away. So basically, she is now going off of a prophecy that means absolutely nothing, and as it turns out, is actually quite dangerous for us. We don't know that yet, though. We're heading there now. This is another very pretty zone as well, the Grove of Kleos. I really like it. Kind of got this, like, afternoon forest kind of vibe, with, like, these nice little farmlands poking out as well. You'll see as well with the with stamina management in this game, when you're like dodging, when you do 4 dodges, you actually regain a bit of stamina. So it's possible to like not have to stop ever. You can always keep going in some fashion because your stamina will always come back. So that's why stamina management is such an important part of this game, because like knowing when to jump and when to use double jumps here and when to expend stamina is super important. It's so easy in this section with loads of jumps to just double jump everything and then end up losing way too much stamina. So these guys, we're going to get them with this. There we go, one-shot the lions. We're worried that they've eaten Athena, but they haven't. And then we find out that based on the prophecy, she was trying to sacrifice us. But it's okay, we've given her a hug, everything's alright. And now we have to go clean her temple. For some reason, I'm starting to think that we're just doing her chores for her or something, because I never really understood the logic of this bit, but whatever.
She's using us.
She is, she just wants us to do the chores. So yeah, just travel over to the temple. This is the last bit before her major vault, though. Her major vault is probably, like, in New Game, it's the hardest bit of the run by far. In New Game Plus, it's still pretty challenging. I wouldn't say it's the hardest, but that's only by virtue of New Game Plus being, like, a much smoother category to run. I was trying to go for a cool fling there. If you let go of an object that you're pulling towards you before you grab it, it'll maintain its momentum and you can fling things really far. So I was trying to fling that across, but didn't quite get it. This is very poor combat right now. Okay, cool. So, cleaning the temple. Turns out you should use spears to do that. I'm sure whenever you clean your room at home, you use many spears.
How else would you do it?
Well, exactly, you know. There we go. Cool. Yeah, that red corruption stuff, it's come up a few times. It's kind of just an annoyance, to be honest. It's there for, like, puzzle-solving, like, purposes, but we don't really need to interact with it too much. They put it in a lot of places to kind of give you an extra thing to do on, like, puzzles and stuff, but not something that we like have to engage with too much in the run. So, Vault of Athena is over this way. Zeus is going to get a revelation about how much of a terrible father he is, which anyone who's familiar with Greek mythology will be well aware of the fact that Zeus is not exactly Dad of the Year. The story of this game, I think, is really cute because it focuses on kind of the self-growth of all of the characters involved, the gods, Fenyx, Zeus in particular. It focuses kind of on their self-growth and has like a lot of nice messages to it. So I think it's quite a nice story. Very light-hearted. I like the sense of humor as well. Admittedly, I am easily pleased. If you've got high standards of comedy, it's not exactly highbrow, but I quite enjoy it. I think it's cute. I have had some people say they really don't like the comedy, but I like it. I think it's good. Bit more platforming. And we'll be into Athena's zone. So Athena's vault actually has some like unique properties, which we'll see right away. But also, we can talk about how pretty the sky is in these vaults. Because this little unskippable cutscene bit kind of shows it off. The best one is Aphrodite's, in my opinion. But all of the vaults of Tartarus have like this nexus going on the top. But the major gods ones, they have like these cool constellation pictures of the gods fighting Typhon. So there's Typhon there, and there's Athena fighting her. It looks really cool. I really like it. So, up until now, all the pressure plates we've had to use require you to leave an object on them to maintain their effect. In this vault, we don't need to do that at all. What we need to do is just press them the once, and it will spawn in objects. So this one here, we need to do 2 of them at the same time, but then the rest of them are all going to be single objects. This will spawn in the stairs, and it will also give... Oh, okay. It will spawn in the stairs, but it will also spawn in a crate down there that you can see. These 2 here, all you have to do is put a heavy object on them, and it spawns the crate. It doesn't matter if you remove the object, they'll stay spawned. So we've just bypassed all of the puzzle solving of that section. The theme of this is that there's a statue of each of the 4 heroes, and we have to get them to help Athena by pushing them closer. And you do that with this kind of weird interaction where they're linked to these boxes, so when you push the boxes forward, it pushes the statue forward too. It's kind of a cool mechanic. Doesn't get used very much, but I think it's really cool. And now we're on to the most obnoxious boss in the game. This is Medusa. Medusa chooses her attacks based on RNG. This is bad RNG. She is now immune for 2 attacks. I can't do anything about it because she's immune right from when she starts the attack. So I can't even hit her before she does it. So now we just have to stand through this attack. She can't hurt us anyway because we deflect projectiles right now. Again, New Game Plus. But we need to wait for something like this. There we go. Cool, we got her. So on a good paced run, she can just really waste your time by RNGing into that stone form attack. She won't do it twice, but if it happens once, it's just time loss. It's really annoying. So here's another puzzle section where this section gives you like objects that you're supposed to bring through here, like large boxes that are made of wood, so they'll break easily. So you're supposed to can I please? Thank you. Cool. So you're supposed to bring them through and put them on these switches, but again, we can just press the switch once with our clone and then move on. So yeah, that's kind of the puzzle you're supposed to do there. Move the small box that's connected to the big box so you can lift a box bigger than you're supposed to. But yeah, we have a clone. We don't need to worry about any of that stuff. And there we go. So that's section 2. That's section 1 done. So there are 3 sections that we do with Medusa spawning 4 times. So we've already had 1 instance of bad RNG. Medusa can't have bad RNG on the second spawn. She doesn't have that attack in her pool. She has a number of different attacks that she cycles between. So she can't go invincible here, but she can on the next 2 phases. So hopefully we won't see that. Now this middle section is one of the hardest in New Game. It requires a very difficult bit of platforming. And like the stamina management required is... Oh, speaking of stamina management, I have not done a very good job of that. So I will play it safe right there. Some sections of this vault I've kind of like optimized very recently. So I still make mistakes every now and again with it. Wait for stamina. There we go. This section here is meant to be the most difficult one. Again, we're just kind of bypassing puzzles by not needing to worry about doing them. I didn't need that stamina potion, but I thought I'd play it safe just in case. So that skip there. In New Game Plus, it's much easier. In New Game, you have to do that with way less available stamina because you have less max stamina in total. So that's like easily the hardest part of New Game for me. Well, actually, Adonis' Fall is probably the hardest part, which is the golf vault that we kind of skipped earlier. But yeah, this vault, I think I spent about 15 minutes in here, like just trying that trick on my first run. So it's a very tricky one to do. So Medusa again, please don't bad RNG. That's good RNG, we like that. And now this is one of the coolest parts of the run for me. So as I've shown you already, we can do these cool like controlled arrow things. And what it wants us to do is clear these boxes out the way to open up these loops, but instead we can use the controlled arrow to just skip straight through it. So we can kind of like wiggle its way into the little gap between the box and the loop and just about hit it. Ah, that's annoying. Just clip the side of that one. There we go. Very, very tricky to do. These are the easier ones, but there's one coming up that's really difficult. Because it's New Game Plus as well, we have speed control, which means we can accelerate when we want to and decelerate when we don't. In New Game, we don't have that upgrade, so it's actually like way harder as well. Whoa. Oh, that was very close. Cool, that was quite speedy on that one. One mistake's fine, I guess.
Strategy, you are invincible.
So that spawns in the last one. And then we're going to fight Medusa one last time. It's kind of frustrating, because in New Game it makes it kind of nice, because Medusa is really easy to kill when she spawns, because she spawns in 4 times. But in New Game Plus, they all die in 1 hit anyway, so she's actually the longest like boss in the main chunk of the game. Until we get to Typhon. Then anyway, bad RNG, so now we have to wait again.
Together, we will defeat Typhon. You'll never stand against the darkness. You're
What?
right. I'll never stand alone. But all
And there we go.
we'll hold each other.
That's Major Vault 3 done. And with it, Athena's zone is also completed. Now I'm to my favorite zone, which is Aphrodite. I mentioned golf earlier. We are still going to do golf. We have skipped the hardest golf section, but there are 3 holes on this golf course, and we've only skipped 1 of them, so we've got 2 to complete. I've never played a golf video game before, but I'm just going to assume it's exactly like this. Even with the wings and the pink deer, I'm pretty sure it's exactly like that, right?
It's literally exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly, right?
In every way.
I'm no golfer, but I'm pretty sure golf involves a large, oversized hammer.
I thought this was Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2022.
Well, I mean, maybe it could be. You know, maybe I could have been lying about the game this whole time.
Surprise!
I would love that if they brought out a sports game but didn't tell anyone they secretly made it a fantasy adventure. That would be phenomenal. Right, we want to get our stamina back because it's golf time. So we have to move this pearl down to the ocean because that's how Zeus thinks that Aphrodite was born, which is not true. They'll enlighten us on that later. But in the short term, we're kind of indulging Zeus's misunderstanding on the subject.
Nothing gruesome about Grandpappy Uranus and my deadbeat dad Kronos had a battle so great.
Yeah, if anyone's familiar with the mythology, don't say anything, okay? You let Zeus have his ideas for now. This is the longest golf section as well. It's very convenient with the hammer as well, because I mentioned it has like a regular attack and a charged attack. The charged attack is like a chip shot. So if you want to chip the golf ball over something, you can use the charged attack. And if you want to just send it straight forwards, you can use the regular attack. You actually have multiple ways of engaging with golf in this game, which is kind of cool. Oh, I just missed it. That's unfortunate. Slightly too fast. Yeah, there's the chip shot I mentioned. Send it down there. Okay, that got stuck on some rocks, whatever. Where's the door? Oh, I should kill these guys, really. There we go. They're gone. Now, one last shot. Send it into the sea. Problem solved. Right, so that has spawned the sea foam. But we are not going to get it just yet, because there is a fast travel point at the top of here for the next zone that we have to go to. And it is much faster to go from halfway up where we are now. Sorry, just concentrate for 1 second. Cool. It's much faster to go from halfway up where we are now and then drop down and fast travel back up than it is to drop down now and climb all the way up this like cliff face. It's a very big cliff face. It's a very long way down. Don't want to have to do that. Just trying to gain some stamina here. I could be more aggressive with my potions, but like I really don't want to run out in Aphrodite's vault in a marathon, so I'm just going to make sure I have enough. Just massively over-predict how many I need. So now we've got the waypoint. Down there is a sea foam, which is going to drop all the way down. In New Game, you have to be careful here, because if you have no stamina in the sea at any point, you just die immediately. Which we do not want to do. But in New Game Plus, we have plenty, so we're not at risk of drowning there. Now we fast travel back up, and now Zeus is going to find out how Aphrodite was actually born.
I can't take this anymore. Zeus, Gaia lied to you about how Aphrodite was born.
Oh yeah? Then tell me how it really happened.
Kill these harpies in the meantime. Ah, okay.
You can't be serious.
Also, we need apples, by the way. That's a thing.
Fell into the sea.
That's
Wait, why are the apples so big?
Well, because they need to be.
What?
I don't know
Okay.
why. So this is basically, we're trying to, so the story would normally be that Aphrodite doesn't want to be restored with her essence because it's gotten rid of her vain, judgy side, basically. But we need her to do that so we can go into the vault. So we're trying to find a way to tempt her into getting her essence back, which means we're trying to get the Apple of Discord, which was, it's a Greek mythological story, but basically it's about an apple that they had to fight over. And again, it's golf, because there's a giant apple, basically. But it means all the puzzles are apple-themed. And we just send it down here. This one's relatively easy. That was quite quick. But what it wants you to do is roll the apple down the hill and fight a bunch of enemies in different spots and stuff like that. But we don't care about that. We instead we send it first, and then we chip it over the wall so we avoid the enemies. And then we just chip it to the end zone, and we are fine. No problems whatsoever. So, we've done all of Aphrodite's quests now. So now we can go and talk to her and just do the various different quest hand-ins that we need to do. A couple of one of them's here, and then a couple of them are over at the Guy's Soul, which is the waypoint we got earlier. So it's going to be super convenient for us. I think I'll have 1 or 2 potions spare, which is nice because I need to have that backup for Aphrodite's Vault. There's a skip that uses at least 2. I think that's the bare minimum. Oh, also, this is Achilles. So there's a really cool mechanic in this game that we haven't seen yet because we don't do enough in one place in one go for the game to activate it. But basically, there will be these invasion sequences where if you do too much stuff in an area, Typhon will start invading and it will spawn in a Wraith. Now, the Wraiths are like embodiments of the 4 heroes that we talked about before, and they will hunt you across the map until you kill them. Once you kill them, the invasion ends, and you get access to an area called a Wraith Lair, where you can go and fight like the original form of the hero, and by defeating them, you set them free, and you no longer have to worry about Wraith Layers in that section of the map. That's the bit that tries to introduce you to that mechanic, so that's where we fight Achilles. But if you were playing casually, you would have Achilles, Atalanta, Heracles, or Theseus, Odysseus, constantly trying to invade you, essentially. They'll appear after a while, and they'll make you fight them.
I mean, I didn't kill him, but
Also, I said Theseus because I've been running Hades recently as well. Apparently, my speedrunning niche is ancient Greece at this point, so I keep getting names mixed up between the 2 games. The weirdest difference actually is that they pronounce Demeter differently in this game to how they do in Hades. So I feel like I have to keep swapping back depending on what game I'm playing.
Why don't you just go get a job?
Anyway, we now have access to the vault. We're going to fast travel back over. This is kind of like load dependent. If you have really, really slow loads, it's probably faster to walk over there. But if you have decent to, well, like even just average loads, you can fast travel here faster.
Hermes and Aphrodite were so close.
So this is the last major vault of the main game. There is one last major vault, but it's like literally the end area of the game. So this is the last like major vault where you can pick the order of what you're doing. And this is my favorite one. This is Aphrodite's vault. I love the constellation artwork in the sky. I love the big statue in the middle. And I like the puzzles normally. But we're, again, not going to do any of those. We can kind of skip around everything. What it wants us to do normally is there are like these big seeds that we're supposed to set on fire, which will remove these thorns and then like remove this like damaging smog over the area. The smog itself doesn't stop you, but if you don't clear all the seeds, it doesn't spawn in the final boss for the section, which means you can't finish the vault and leave. But thanks to our mobility, we can leave still. New Game and New Game Plus can both do this again, but we do it in different ways. So in New Game, you have to climb that big tree up there that we just saw. In New Game Plus, we can instead go around, well, we can kind of like go around here, and then we can take a more direct path. So, oh, okay, thank you, game, for that. Didn't want to let me on the route. So you can see we're taking damage constantly. I have, like, routed this for damageless because I do want to do damageless at some point. I just haven't had the time recently. I did do a couple of attempts, but there is a damageless way to beat this vault as well without fighting the boss, which is kind of cool. Quite proud of my solution for that. So, one, two, three, four, five, bum. There we go. Easy peasy. One potion to spare. And that is the last major vault. But the game isn't quite over yet. We have to go for Unleash the Gods Essences, and then there's a couple of quests on the end as well. There are 3 major boss fights left, one of which is somewhat of a plot spoiler, so I won't talk about it until we get there. But I will give a brief warning when we're approaching there if you don't want to get spoiled on what is possibly like the biggest plot twist of this game. There's a couple of big ones, and they're both in the last section, so I'll mention it for people to look away for a little bit if they don't want to be spoiled on the plot. Oh my, twice in a run? No way. Hermes just trolled me again. The odds of that happening are super low. I've only ever had 3 times?
It can happen back to back.
I've never had it happen back to back. I've never had it happen 3 times. The most I had was twice, once, ever. Like, what was that? Please, there we go. Right, we're actually in the Hall of the Gods now. I have never had that happen 3 times. I've never had it happen back to back.
A world first.
That
Only
is
at
ridiculous.
Speed
That's never happened before.
Maybe I should have listened to a few
I said the thing. So we can recover our potions here. Oh, and we can go change our customization now as well. We're going to go for the Viking braid, right?
That's right, yeah.
The great Zeus is fallible after all.
no, that's not
Cool.
right.
A small weird thing that's going to happen here as well is that if we can get Aphrodite's cutscene to trigger on the first frame, which should be able to happen if I buffer the input.
I know.
Yeah, we got it. Cool. So now Fenyx is trying to do potions and like character customization at the same time. The cutscenes for those are playing right now. So like you can't really see it too well with the when it's got the other one in there as well. But when you have just the potions, you can see Fenyx like mixing potions whilst talking to Athena, whilst talking to Aphrodite. It's very weird. Trying to do all of them at the same time. There's actually a glitch associated with that we do in any percent, but we don't need it for New Game Plus. It makes you invincible in the next boss fight, but we don't need to be invincible because we're not going to get hit, so it doesn't matter. It just wastes time. Anyway, that was a lovely conversation, but now we're going to move on. So, new area has been revealed to us. King's Peak. This is like where Zeus's throne is. And we are going to climb up the mountain. Basically a Celeste run at this point. So, one of the mechanics that they use for this, if you remember I mentioned the corrupted zones earlier that will drain your stamina really quickly. One of the mechanics that they use here is like a sheer cold kind of thing, where it's so cold that your stamina drains immediately. And what they want you to do is... Let me just concentrate for a second. What they want you to do is go around and light these beacons, which will allow you to traverse the cold sections without any issues. I'm going to do one more of these. Yeah, why not? It'll allow you to traverse the cold without any issues. But thanks to how mushrooms work, we can skip all but one of these sections in like one fell swoop. And then in New Game Plus as well, we can skip the other one in its own little like isolated case as well. So we'll be seeing that very soon. In the meantime, we're just going to climb up the mountain. Also, there's another example of sliding up surfaces with dodging. We went up that hill very quickly. Normally, you'd have to climb that. So this would be another good time again for any messages or anything, any donation incentives you want to update progress on, because I'm just going to be doing a bit of climbing for a while.
I'm just taking a look here. We are still $160 away from the Wheel of Fortune bonus round, which, people, there are 2 hours left. Let's make it happen. Please, please, please. I really need this. I need this in my life. And it's for a good cause, obviously. And then Peach Takes a Shower are still $250 away. So people, please get those donos in. We still got a lot of time for that one. 4.5 hours, give or take. Let's do it, people. Make it happen.
Come on, everyone. I believe in you.
I'm
I'm going to be very careful with potions here because the exact potion count can get a bit wonky in the final vault, and I want to make sure for a marathon that I'm entering with a lot of them. Just know I could be going a bit harder with like potion usage, and I could be pushing the movement a little bit more than I am right now. But I just don't want to run out in a marathon and then have it be like really awkward when I can't finish the last vault, so... I mean, worst case scenario, I could do any percent strats, I guess, but it's nicer to not have to do that. So... what we're going to do right now is we are going to fly over here, and we're going to hit this blue kind of aurora section that you can see, which is going to be where the sheer cold starts. But because it drains stamina rather than just removing it, it turns out if we just continuously eat mushrooms, we always have a tiny bit of stamina that allows us to initiate a jump upwards, and then the stamina will drain, but then by the time we jump again, we've eaten another mushroom. So we can just maintain a small amount of stamina at all times, which allows us to climb up that wall. We do the same thing in any percent, but we have to be more conservative with our use of mushrooms. You have to kind of time it differently because you have way, way less of them. I ate like probably about 30 to 40 mushrooms there. You can do it with as few as 20, so that's the kind of difference between the strats. It's definitely much harder in New Game. Also, I didn't mount there because for whatever reason you can't mount on that bridge. It doesn't let you. I don't know why. This side of it is absolutely fine though. So over there is a puzzle we do in New Game. In New Game Plus, we can do even more mushroom shenanigans. So we're going to kill this Cyclops. He always sees us. He always gets in the way. I skipped him once in my life. I'm not going to bother trying to skip him again. And now we're in the sheer cold again. So this whole section here, we're supposed to do that puzzle and light these beacons. But instead, we're just going to eat more mushrooms. Please grab the wall. Interesting. Don't know why Fenyx didn't want to grab that wall, but that's fine. She can do what she wants. You can see just tiny amounts of stamina that drain really quickly, but they give me enough time to do my climbing. Here we use potions because we need to go up these air vents, which again is an action that, even though it doesn't drain stamina for us because we are New Game Plus and we have like infinite stamina for certain things, you need to have some stamina in the first place to start doing them. So that's why the stamina is so important, because even though these actions don't drain stamina for us in New Game Plus, if you don't have any stamina to start with, you can't start doing them, which is a small small nuance of how the system works.
And when she said no, I shamed her into marrying
This is the one that I could... No, it's the next one. There's a small piece of extra trick, like a small piece of extra tech here now, where you can go like this and just clear that section in one go. It just skips a small corner that you walk around. It doesn't make much of a difference, but I think it looks cool. Also, Aphrodite being a tad extra. We should have been doing small sections like that where we light these beacons all the way up the mountain, but yeah, we have bypassed all of that with our mushroom-based content. Do a little bit of movement here. So, upcoming, this next boss, if you care about spoilers for this game, I would recommend looking away pretty much now for the next, like, I want to say like the next minute, maybe 2 minutes, just to be safe. So now we've given people an opportunity to look away. This is Ligiron. He's our brother. Turns out he's working for Typhon. He's also the one that stole the essence from Ares' area, but he left us under the impression that he was on our side. But no, he's a big traitor and we're going to fight him. He is not too challenging because it's New Game Plus, so we can just deal absurd amounts of damage.
Oh, yeah. I could get used to this.
Jesus.
Is that like this moral?
That was like a half a second.
Come on, Fenyx.
Yeah, we did a lot of damage. This last phase is really annoying because he's invincible for a short period of time, so I just kind of have to stand around for a second.
Let me teach you a thing or two.
I should probably not stand in it, I guess.
Is this what you want?
Okay, I managed to use the shield potion to get around it. Problem solved. Anyway, that's Ligiron. Easy fight.
No. What if you...
And now we're going to make our way up to the Vault of Typhon. So the Vault of Typhon is the end game. It is the final vault in the game, and it's going to give us a warning that we're at the point of no return. This game, even though it's open world, it's not open-ended. But what the game will do is automatically create a save for you called a Typhon save at the point where you're supposed to fight Typhon, so that you can always come back and continue your save file if you want. You never lock yourself out of game content in any way, which is very nice. Here we're doing a lot of like slides up the mountain. So a lot more of those like dodge sliding. Okay. Just some quick mountain traversal. It's going to give us a warning here. Don't come in here unless you want to finish your game. And we're on to Typhon 1. There are 2 Typhon boss fights. The first one is significantly faster than the second one. Once I've beaten the first Typhon fight here, there's going to be another major plot reveal. So if you don't want to see any plot spoilers, then you should probably watch during... You should probably look away for like a few minutes. A minute to 2 minutes, I'd say again. It's cutscenes, and I will skip them as fast as possible, but there's a couple of the ones where you have to hold space instead of mashing it. And you will see the first part of a cutscene, and it does spoil something, so... Just a friendly spoiler avoidance for people. This is Typhon 1. That was Typhon 1. Very fast boss fight. So yeah, this is where spoiler time is.
The storm that hit Fenyx's ship?
I made that up.
Prometheus being a jerk. So yeah, big plot twist. Was revealed now. Fenyx is one of Zeus's children that he did not know about. That is why she's been able to do so many godly deeds. That is why she has all these godly powers. She is part of the family. And Prometheus prophesized this happening because he thought that Fenyx would be vengeful against Zeus for abandoning her and come back for revenge. But as it turns out, she comes back and she's like, "Oh, hi, Dad. How's it going?" And they got on very well. And then they decide they're going to fight Typhon. Now we're in the Vault of Typhon. The Vault of Typhon tries to combine all of the things that we've seen from the major vaults so far. So we have the Forge Wind here as an example. And we've also got things from Aphrodite's vault down there. We've got like Orichalcum blocks. We've got loads of stuff that we're just not going to bother with. Because what we're going to do instead, we'll use the Forge Wind to get over here. And then we'll change the Forge Wind's direction using this. And now we're going to go straight up there. So every time you complete one of these sections, the game is trying to like spawn in like a big column that we're supposed to eventually... What the... Why did my... I don't know why my flight just stopped. That was weird, but we're fine. The game just canceled my flight for no reason. Just as well, I saved some more potions. But you can see me trying to move against the Forge Wind there. I'm kind of like slowly like having to like push into it. So that's something that I have to be like conscious of. So I'm constantly pressing right here to push against the Forge Wind. And now we'll just maintain our height this way. So we just want to cut this corner. And we're going to change our items right here. So this is the only time we do this in any run of this game. But we have changed... Oh, the horse has changed. Oh no, it doesn't matter. We don't see the horse anymore. That's fine. So we've changed to a different helmet because this is the longest fight in New Game Plus. Dealing extra damage on the first hit is irrelevant when you have to hit him multiple times. So instead, we have equipped one that gives us a flat damage increase against legendary creatures like Typhon. So this fight has a lot of phases. They're all largely the same, but in between each one, we're going to get a really cheesy cutscene where the gods start beating up Typhon for us. The Hermes is obviously making a bunch of delivery driver jokes. But yeah, we're dealing so much damage, we're going to push into each phase like pretty much instantly. There's only one phase where we can't do this, and this is where Typhon will phase out for a while and give us a like auto-scroller where we fight a bunch of different enemies. But In any percent, that's a very threatening part of the run because you can get insta-killed. But in New Game Plus, we are absolutely fine. We're coming up on time really soon, by the way. So when Typhon is dead, like when he's lost all his health, I will be calling time. If we do this right, we will deal so much damage to Typhon that Zeus will kill him. We won't actually finish him off because every time these gods do one of these cutscenes, it's going to like deal damage to Typhon after each one. So Zeus actually gets the killing blow on Typhon if we do everything properly in New Game Plus. Okay, missed him there, that's fine. Sometimes you can get him just before he phases and do a little bit more damage, but you can't skip the phase. It locks his health for it, so it's very annoying. So this is the auto scroll away fight. If there's any final messages you'd like to read out, then go ahead. If not, we can just chill and kill this griffin.
It looks like we'll just be chilling and killing griffin for now.
Sounds good. I already killed the griffin, but we'll find more content, I promise. I'll find more stuff to do. Okay, more enemies coming here. There's a cool thing about Hephaestus' hammer. As you upgrade it, it actually gets like an aura around it, which means that the ground will become an AoE for a short time afterwards. Which means if you use the hammer on top of where an enemy's going to spawn, you'll damage them as they come in. And sometimes it will kill them in one, which is really nice. Okay, Typhon should spawn in any second now. There he is. We have to wait for him to recover from his animation. I'm just waiting. Bonk. So there's Athena, then we have Ares, then we have Zeus, and then the run should be over. So
You are sentenced to die. No appeal allowed.
oh, getting close. It's important to dodge at the start of the run as well, because at the start of each section as well, because when he does that, oh, I just mistimed that. That's unfortunate. Slightly slower now. Oh, come on, Typhon. This is the worst when he does this because oh, wow. That's really bad, actually. I made him phase by the reflect damage from that feather hitting me, which means that I dealt a very small amount of damage. And now maybe Zeus doesn't finish him off. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I do enough. Anyway, this is Ares, so we have one more section. So I will let you know when time's possibly coming. Dealt a small amount of damage. Just have to wait for this next bit. Where is he going? Oh, this might not kill him. Okay. Time might be after this cutscene, I'll say, but just be ready for it. It's when Typhon's health bar disappears. Whether that's from Zeus or from me, we'll find out in a sec. The fight didn't go too smoothly at the end, so... And... No, not time. Not time. I have to deal one more hit to him. There we go. Time. We did it. Okay.
Perfect.
And I will skip the cutscenes, so you don't see any plot stuff. But yeah, that run went pretty smooth, actually. A couple of like hiccups, but I think I recovered quite well. Can I just check what my final time was?
We had you down at 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 6 seconds.
I will take that. That is pretty good. So the world record / my PB for this game, because I'm the only one who runs it right now, but it is a 1:31:45. So I've been getting runs really close to that recently, so I'm super happy with that in a marathon. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I've had a great time. I really, really love this game. I encourage anyone to play it, get involved with speedrunning it. I'm more than happy to help out with any like questions people might have about it, or just to talk about it in general. I think it's a really cool game. So yeah, thank you for having me. I hope more people check it out, and be sure to keep watching the marathon and donating.
Thank you very much, Ailis. That was awesome. I love that. I'm definitely going to pick this game up now. It looks super interesting. So you did an amazing job of showing that off. And then next up, guys, we've got Quo coming up with Pokemon Stadium Petite Cup %, or category, I suppose. I don't think it's called Petite Cup %, but we'll see.